Yeah, so then when I went in for audition for Sonic and Chris, and the producer Michelle Dunn just said, "Can you switch those voices?" So I did the voice I was doing for Chris for Sonic and switched them. And then when I went in for Shadow, I had a roommate in Queens, New York, named Carl. You know, you sort of do this as a voice actor subconsciously. I didn't realize I was imitating him when I went in, but he always talked about his books, and he'd be chain smoking, and you know, you want to drink at 8 a.m. And so I just sort of
Sonic Heroes. They were animating to our voices. We were voicing to animation, and so we were sort of growing with the art form. But I'll tell you, just to be in those beginning stages when they really listened to us and really wanted us to create, and it was lovely. And to get the gift of, and I'm going to stop talking, to get the gift of, so Lonnie, who played Rouge, she was the American director, so she was the liaison, and she would give us direction. And the thrilling part of that is whenever we'd have scenes together, she would be like, "I'm just going to hop in the ISO booth, let's do the scene together." And then we had real context, because then we got to really play. It was like doing a scene, it was like theater. So I felt like we got the gift of doing a lot of things different.
I think that script was 300 plus pages per character. Because I know if you know, most of you have even said, they were like, we got to like this point and never finished the game. And I've only seen Super Silver, Super Sonic, and Super Shadow because I watched the cutscenes. Like, there's no way I could get that far in the game. And so they didn't have time to be like, these are the things that you're saying. And so, like you said, Scott, like, you know, you were maybe yelling out of context. I was saying things that I had no idea what in the world I was talking about, and they weren't going to explain it to me. And we also never had we were never even close to this. Jason and I were he doesn't remember this, but Jason and I were in the same booth once because he was walking out and I was walking in, and they asked us to do some background voices. So somewhere in that game, there's Pete and Jason having a little mess around.
I wish there was a video of this. That's all I wish.
I am the ultimate power. Hey guys, long time no see. I must have been caught in the mines.
That's how you greeted us today, too. So that's weird.
And of course, time for a knuckle sandwich.
I really like the moment where Sage is watching Tails and Sonic talk, and he tells her he's gonna go off on his own. I think is what I don't remember what he says, but she's watching them, and she says, "A family born of love and not genetics. Everything I want."
I know what you want my favorite line to be, but it's not my favorite line. So I'm going to tell you what my favorite line is, and then I'll do the other one that I'm always forced to do. And I'm so happy to do it, by the way. So my favorite line was my first line I ever recorded, and it was for the E3 trailer that year in 2006. And there's an E3 2006 shirt out there on the floor, and it's $150, and I'm so tempted to buy it because I was so excited because that premiered my character. But at the end of the trailer, like, you don't see Silver, and at the very end, he's standing on the hill and he goes, "I finally found him, the Iblis Trigger." And then the other one, which I said once in the booth and they played it 10,000 times in the boss battle, is, "It's no use! You said the thing!" I do that for weddings, bar mitzvahs, graduations,
Funerals, which is weird.
no, I want to be alive, but it's no use!
That reminds me, I think the first line I ever recorded in the booth was, "I'm Tony and I have zits." I'll do my favorite line, but as the wrong character. "Where's that damn fourth Chaos Emerald?"
I really have to hand it to Jamie and the producers and everybody. You know, they had, you know, the writers and producers fly down from Seattle to come down and work with us on that first game, and it was tremendous because, you know, to peel back the curtain a little bit on the process when you're recording with a video game, any video game for that matter, you know, sometimes, you know, you have deadlines, time is money, you know, hurry, hurry, hurry. One of the things that I absolutely loved working on this project is that they gave us a lot of time. You know, they really wanted those performances to shine. And so, you know, you're learning the character, you're joining them on this journey just as much as the gamers are. And so you're just kind of whittling it down and really finding their voice and their personality and their character. And, you know, again, when you put your trust in a director like Jimmy, he doesn't get enough credit, man. Because I've worked with him on Final Fantasy, I've worked with him on several different projects over the years. And Jamie is especially good at setting the stage. He's the biggest like lore nerd there is, because he'll come in and he say, okay, we're gonna be working on this, and this is your character, and this is their backstory, and this is their life, and this is their history, and all the things that have been going on, and like, it's like, oh my gosh, like he does a great job of setting you up for success so that you can, again, like I said, make the best educated choices and decisions possible.
Once you get in that room and you start recording, now the scripts are there, and the actor starts working it out. I have my input, and we start, all of a sudden that character, the first maybe 5, could be 5, 10, could be 20, 30 lines, it depends on the character starts to morph. And the actor starts bringing their own personality into it, and then the advice from myself and from the clients, and all of a sudden this character starts finding its real voice, and it might be just a little different than the audition, and there might be some little nuances that nobody ever thought was going to happen, and all of a sudden, 40th, 50th line, or maybe earlier, all of a sudden now that character's voice, the reactions to things, the surprise, the mundane moments or action moments. Also, now you start to find that. And a lot of times you do is out that.
It's really weird because coming from stage, I memorize everything, right? In voiceover, I don't have to, so I don't. The second we are done recording, I have already forgotten everything I've said, which is the worst because anytime anyone's like, "Can you sign this with your favorite line?" I'm like, "No, I can sign this with your favorite line." So sorry, but I don't remember that.
For me, it's really just I think the first thing he ever said was, you know, I can't. He said, "Hey, there's the one up top above you." And I just thought that was just so establishing his style and who he was, and just, you know, friendly and approachable without, you know, because he was big, and I wanted to counter his size and his intimidation with something very friendly and very voice that was very approachable and friendly. So that was my favorite line first one.
Even after all these years,
We've got to get to Varudania.
I for the longest time, I don't know how many damn takes we did of that line, because I was not saying Bob Rudania right. Like, I just like, and Jamie would like, no, it's Rudania, and I was like, I'm hearing it, and I think I'm saying it the way you're telling me, but I don't. It's not coming out the right way, and so.
And I remember nothing when I remember people come up to me and again, they apologize, I don't have a story like that. I'm sorry about that thing from last time. I'm like, I don't remember. I really don't remember.
Jill Valentine. We also have Joe White, who plays Chris Redfield. We have Hope Levy, who plays Rebecca Chambers. And last but not least, we have Peter Jessup, who plays Albert Westford. The panel begins.
Script, and they had like one little black and white printout picture of Jill Valentine. I remember the hat, military like garb, and I just read, you know, and I got direction, and I'm much goofier and much more sensitive than Jill Valentine, and so they had to really rein me in, and they were like, no, she's much tougher than this. She's not going to fall apart. And I was like, okay, let's go. And I got it. But I really needed direction. So I'm thrilled that we were able to work together. And after hearing Joe White's story, I'm thrilled I wasn't replaced. Because they could have said, this girl's too goofy and too sensitive to be Jill Valentine. So fortunately, I kept my job.
I was telling somebody this the other day. It's not actually something you're going to be able to find unless you're playing as Jill.
when you're listening through the door to Wesker and Barry. And I remember arguing with Sensei about this line because it was one of those, and I turned to Barry and I'm like, and I say, "Don't be a hard dog to keep under the porch, Barry." I don't know what that means. I've never heard that. He's like, no, it's a very common American phrase. I'm like, and I've loved it ever since because it's so absurd. And I'm like, okay. And it's not really part of the main gameplay, so it doesn't really matter. But I love that one. That's my favorite.
Well, I, of course, as a musician, I do love when Rebecca runs in the room and she goes, "Chris!" And then he's banging on the piano. That sounds like Moonlight Sonata.
Right.
Like, not when I banged on the piano, but I just think that's hilarious. So I like the comic relief. That's what I remember.
If you practiced a little.
Yeah, exactly. And then she practices. Wait, I just gotta keep practicing.
We need 5 minutes of practice.
I
I'll
love
go kill some
practicing.
zombies. I'll be right back.
Like, I don't care if the world is dying around us and we're being chased and we're gonna die, but I have to practice and get it perfect.
Right.
That's all she cares about. That way.
And, well, you know what happens when you do get it right.
Oh yeah, and then
Wall slides
the wall
open.
slides open. See, there's a reason for everything.
And I like, for me, just the one I go, Enrico! And I'm falling for it. Because when I heard it played on, I don't own the game, but I've heard my cutscenes on YouTube, and I'm like, oh yeah. So that's like a really good example of me being like emotionally invested and super like sad and worried about somebody and frustrated all at one time instead of just being a tough joke, getting through it. So to me, that was like, I was like, oh yeah.
All that empathy and compassion into one.
One word, and
One
let
name.
that get in there, yes.
3 syllables. So chance to really go up and down.
Yes.
I think my favorite line is, Chris Redfield, Alpha Team, we're here to rescue you. Which is hard to say. We're here to rescue you. It's like 4 R's in a row. Chris Redfield, Alpha Team, we're here to rescue you. God. We're here to rescue you. But I like that line because it kind of encapsulates Chris to me. Chris he's a saver. He's a rescuer. That or Wesker, you test tube freak.
I have one of those too.
Yes, you do.
Yes, you do.